As usual, it's useful to remind ourselves that in Nidra there's an intention to kind of think about and experience stillness. But if you need to move, or you have a desire to move or fidget and scratch, or at anything else at any point, please do that. And similarly, there's kind of an intention to stay gently present through the process, but it's quite common and quite normal also to wander off and to drift off, and that's also okay. So there's nothing you need to do about that either. Maybe you can settle in to the idea of allowing the practice to just be what you need it to be today. I'm going to start with a little rotation around the body. And our rotation tonight, I'd like us to think about rotating around the body with that sense of coziness. There's something nice about kind of cold, damp times of year, and that is the knowledge that you're warm and dry, right? That can be like part of the point, to have that privilege of being somewhere warm and dry and cozy. So if you'd like to, what I'm going to invite you to do, as ever, everything is optional. But what I'm going to invite you to do is maybe we'll start down at the toes. Just thinking about bringing your awareness to your toes and your feet. And thinking about them hopefully being warm and cozy. Like, do they feel warm and cozy for you? Or can you invite a sense of warmth and coziness into the feet? And there's no rush and there's no hurry. But in your own time, if you'd like to, we just move to the ankles, the right ankle and the left ankle. And just thinking about the ankles as being, again, a place in the body that you're either experiencing or inviting an experience of warmth and coziness. Maybe you can even imagine kind of drawing on a nice snuggly pair of socks. And I suggest that you move through the body in the same way. So moving up to the calves and the shins. Again, thinking about warmth and coziness. And that kind of almost Goldilocks feeling of things being just right, Not too warm, not too cold either. Bringing that same sense of warmth and coziness into the knees now. Inviting that same sensation to travel up into the thighs. And then up into the hips and the buttocks and the private areas of the body. And into the lower belly. Maybe almost like there's already a nice warm cup of something in that belly. And how might it be to invite that sense of warmth and coziness to flow up the spine now and out through the shoulders? And maybe as it does so, it's inviting also a sense of just a little bit more relaxation. A little bit of almost kind of softening or melting into the shoulder blades. And the chest and the collarbones too, nice and warm and cozy. Into the armpits and starting to move down the arms now. Through the upper arms, the elbows. to the forearms and the wrists, to the palms of the hands and the backs of the hands. And perhaps just moving into each and every finger and thumb. If that feels comfortable for you right now. And at the same time, that same sense of warmth and coziness flowing up through the neck and the throat. Maybe spreading through the scalp. Encouraging the forehead perhaps to release and relax. The eyebrows to soften. The eyelids to get a little heavier. The cheeks to soften. The jaw to relax a little bit. Until as best we can, the whole body is inviting this sense of warmth and coziness. And just setting that intention, and then hopefully experiencing it. And knowing that it's still okay if there's little pockets of the body or parts of the body that are a little fidgety or still a little bit, not quite as warm and cozy as you might like. And that's okay too. We can only set that intention and make that invitation to the body. Then as we move further into this state, this place of Yoga Nidra tonight, I thought I might do something that I've done before. I know a lot of people love, which is actually to just describe a little bit of a walk. I've done it before, talking about walks in the summer. And recently I've just been really enjoying taking Storm, taking my greyhound, taking my dog for his walks. And it's a very different experience at the moment, very different experience in the winter and often in the dark. And as ever, you're welcome to join me on this journey to imagine along with me, or you're welcome to just listen to the sound of my voice and drift gently in your own way, and that's also okay. And if you'd like to imagine kind of getting yourself ready to go out into a slightly wintry night, pulling on kind of boots and coats and gathering all the paraphernalia that you need when you've got something with you that runs on four legs. And here, as we step out onto the road here. We have to cross the road and then wend through the houses. It doesn't take long until we dip down into the park and out into the valley. And the thing about this particular park, the one we go to in the afternoons, is that because it is a little tiny valley, it's quite low lying, and quite often there's that feeling of kind of misty dampness in the air. It can be quite foggy, it can feel quite, the air can be quite damp and cool on the skin. And at other times you've got that beautiful kind of winter feeling of everything being crisp and dry and frosty, crinkling underfoot, ice on the puddles. And the light changes so quickly at this time of year. Sometimes it can be bright sunshine, full day. And sometimes we'll just leave it that extra hour or that extra kind of half hour, and we're walking out into the darkness, into the soft, deep darkness of the valley. And you know, the funny thing is, the walks I really love aren't the bright, crisp, light, frosty days. They're really the ones where it's soft and dark, a little bit damp. And if you were doing this walk, you might take a torch and that would be fine. I tend not to, although because Storm is a rather large, very black dog, he does have a light up colour so that people coming around the corner don't get slightly freaked out by a large greyhound arriving. So often as I'm walking out through the valley, through this route I know so well, all I can see is this little ring of light bouncing along. We get to take that journey into the darkness, down through the damp of the valley, and up out the other side. And then we turn back towards home again. But when we turn back, we go through the estate. There's an estate just across the valley here, quite new houses. And what I really love about this time of year is every time we go, there's more light. It's one of these little estates where everyone has twinkly lights over the door or in the window, or the Christmas trees are up. Or these days, you know, people can have some quite full-on kind of projections and things. And there's something about that. There's something about the coziness of being all wrapped up warm on a cold day, walking through the darkness, watching all the lights, bright against the sky, and sometimes stars above as well. And what it makes me feel like, what it makes me think of, is that each one of these little displays of lights in the window or around the door, it's another little bubble of humanity, another little bubble, another family, another person, just cheerily lighting the world up against the darkness. And there's something about that that's really simple and really primal, really lovely for me. All these little bubbles of warmth and light, just waving to each other across the cosy, sleepy darkness of winter. And it asks nothing of you. It demands nothing from you. You just get to look at the pretty lights dancing in the darkness. And I think it's because this is how I love my Christmases and my Yules this time of year, is my tiny little family in its own little bubble of light and warmth, reaching out and waving and saying hi to other little families of warmth and light, and then retreating home and cozying up together. And I'm wondering about all the ways in which we reach out, sometimes a little bravely at this time of year, into the darkness. Whether that's giving to charity or carol concerts, or sending presents to loved ones and friends the other side of the world, or video calling people you miss. And if I ever wish for Yule, for Christmas, for myself, for all of us, for all of you as well, it's that you have both rest and sweet darkness to rest in, and that you also have moments of brightness and warmth. To give you those little moments of joy and hope. So that's the little walk that we do deep down through the valley and then back through the lights of the estate, and then through the lights of the town centre, all lit up, and the lights of the shops, and then all the way home to warmth and light and coziness. Together. And at this point, on the theme of rest, just going to pause, have a little moment of silence with you. So if you do find yourself drifting off and coming back, you don't need to panic. Just have a little silence to drift, just for a couple of minutes here, together. So here we are, floating in the warmth, the cosy darkness together. And this bit is optional. I mean, it's all optional. This bit is optional. I wonder if maybe it might be nice today to commit to slowing down. Over the course of the next week, the sun will be slowing in its own path, although it'll still rise and set. In terms of its position on the horizon, it'll be slowing to a stop, to the solstice. 9 to the 21st, morning of the 22nd. And if it's appropriate for you, if it's possible for you, if it feels right for you, it is an invitation. It is an invitation to pause, to slow down whatever it is you feel needs to pause. I've been working a lot recently on the idea of going with the flow. And the funny thing about going with the flow is it also involves stopping. So that's my invitation, if you'd like to see what it might be like to set the intention, to stop, to pause. The nice thing is, if you can start to do it now, you get a really nice break. And that's my question, like, can we stop early? It's the 14th, could we stop? One of the things about our always on world is sometimes it's hard to stop. And push the snooze button just a little bit. So I guess if you need it, that's what it is. I guess if you need it, if you need someone's permission, you have my permission to press the snooze button. And as far as this practice of Yoga Nidra goes, you can slowly start to bring it towards an end. But that doesn't mean to say there's any rush, and it doesn't mean to say anything particularly needs to happen. So my invitation to you is to check in with yourself and see how you're feeling right now. Do you want to pause for another minute or two? Or are you ready to start? To maybe invite a yawn. Just maybe really lingering in that process of kind of externalizing, thinking about the space around you, where you are. Bringing yourself back a little bit to the here and now. Knowing again that there's no rush, no hurry, no expectation of anything in particular. But you might just open your eyes a little bit and think, oh, that's not too bad out there. You might, if you wanted to, have a bit of a stretch and a wriggle. Or just change position. Maybe you're just changing sides. Maybe you're having a big stretch. I encourage you to do this next bit as lazily as possible. Like, what would be the lazy way to think about coming back to the world? Maybe tuning in to the part of you that maybe does want to move right now. Is there any part of you that wants to wriggle? Is there any part of you that wants a big hug and a squeeze? Is there any part of you that wants to see how big you can be, how much you can stretch? Is there any part of you that needs to pee or have a drink? Is there any part of you that's hungry? Is there any part of you that's gone to sleep and thinks, oh no, I really need to move that buttock or that foot? And again, there's no rush, there's no hurry, there's not even any expectation. We're just going to slowly move from the Yoga Nidra part back into a more everyday state of consciousness. No rush and no hurry.